Welcome back, everybody. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says up to 7 Biden family members may have been involved in foreign business schemes after identifying Beau Biden's widow, Haley, as the third member to receive payments from Hunter's business associate, Rob Walker. These are all in bank transactions. Newly obtained records show Haley received at least 2 payments totaling $35,000, one of them after Walker received a $3 million wire transfer from a Chinese energy company.
Joe Biden's defenders have said is this is a business deal. This is a business deal. There's no business. They were influence peddling. They were. It looks like they were getting money for some type of service. Now, I don't think Hunter Biden could provide the type of service that would generate millions and millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party, but I believe his father could.
Here to react, New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor, best-selling author, Laptop from Hell, knows all about this, Miranda Devine. Miranda, what significance is it that Haley's on the payroll?
Good morning, Brian. Well, it just shows that Haley, who worked at a primary school there in Delaware as a guidance counsellor, didn't have any expertise any more than Hunter did to work on these big international business deals. It's just a kickback for Joe Biden's immediate family members, 4 of whom are listed on the bank accounts as having benefited from this one tranche, remember, just one of many, tranche of $3 million that was paid to the Biden family and their associates by this Chinese energy conglomerate, which is not just any old company, as Hunter Biden's lawyers are trying to say, a private company. That's not how it works in China, as they well know. This was an arm of the President Xi Jinping's Belt and Road Initiative, and that's his way of trying to ensnare the rest of the world with bribery and corruption and lots of money to become a slave to China and ensnare them in debt traps and make sure that their top officials are compromised. So that's what this company CEFC was, and it was paying this money to 4 immediate Biden family members just within weeks of Joe Biden being out of office as vice president. And we know from Hunter's former business partner, Tony Bobulinski, and from multiple evidence on the laptop, that this money was being paid for work that had been done, opening doors and influence peddling around the world by the Biden family and their associates, like Rob Walker, on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party.
Let me just bring up, for those of you at home who don't know the Belt and Road program, it was created to compete with American interests around the world. So he knows this, and still the Biden family feels perfectly comfortable taking money from it or contributing to it, which is totally anti-American. But I also thought it was interesting that they also have a bank account identified in records as belonging to Biden. We don't have a first name on that one. They were very careful, according to Tony Bobulinski, to never mention his name, and that's why 2 separate people, including Tony, reference him as the big guy. Now, when this comes out, everyone wants to say, how dare you attack a widow? That's not the point, but here's what the Hunter Biden's legal team said. Hunter Biden, a private citizen with every right to pursue his own business endeavors, joined several business partners seeking a joint venture with a privately owned legitimate energy company in China. As part of the joint venture, Hunter received his portion of good faith seed funds, which he shared with James and Haley, whom he has been involved with at the time, and sharing expenses. So, do you feel as though they missed the point?
Yes, it's quite a bizarre response. Good faith seed money, I guess, is what they're going to hang their hat on, as if this Chinese company is just doling out millions of dollars to them as a prepayment, as a down payment on some nefarious or some mysterious work they're going to do for them now that Joe Biden's out of office. And I mean, that doesn't pass the sniff tests. And there's, a lot of evidence from Tony Bobulinski and others to show that that's not the case. And, Hunter Biden was in financial trouble at that time. He was paying $37,000 a month alimony to his ex-wife. He was in a relationship with his brother's widow, Hallie Biden. And as well as that, his money from Burisma, the Ukrainian company, had been cut in half once his father was no longer vice president. Right. So he needed this Chinese money.
Right. And we still don't know what it was for and what they actually brought to the table. No expertise to be found. Hunter was the lawyer. James wasn't. No energy specialty. And he's working with a program that was created to compete with America. And they felt good about that as private citizens. That is ethically flawed. Miranda, we're just starting. Thanks so much. We'll have you back.
Thanks, Brian.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.